Hello class, today we are going to go back over point slope form and go in a little bit deeper. And so if you remember with point slope form, you have your slope, which is always going to be the same. And then you have your point, so you have a point of x1, y1. And so that is going to be these values here, and we always have subtraction. And so we always, if we're pulling from the equation, remember we want to use the opposite, but we're always using that from the equation, not from when we're given a point. So I'll explain that as we kind of go through this. So looking at the first set, we're going to write in point slope form. So we want to make sure that we're very clear that we're saying point slope form, because we could eventually ask you to write something going from point slope form into slope intercept. So you just always have to be very careful of the directions. And so here we're going to use this as our x1, y1. And we're going to say y minus -2 is equal to 3 times x minus a -6. And then we want to clean all of these up, the double negatives. And so we're going to end up with y plus 2 is equal to 3 times x plus 6. And that would be our final answer for that one. Similarly, for the next one, we would say y minus a -6 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 7. We want to clean these double negatives up, so we're going to say y plus 6 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 7. And then looking at this last one, we're going to work down here. So we're going to say y minus 2 is equal to -3/4 x minus -8. And again, we just need to clean up our double negatives, so we're going to say y minus 2 is equal to -3/4 x plus 8 would be our final answer. And those are all in point slope form, and we're leaving them in point slope form for making sure that we're reading the instructions for those. Same thing as the last yesterday. We could go through these and say that we want to make sure that we understand that we're asking for point slope form. So we're going to need to find the slope first, which they're not giving us a slope, they're giving us 2 points. And then for this one, they're just asking for the first point, to use the first point. So if we wanted to find our slope, we would say 2 minus 0 over 5 minus 4. And that would give us 2/1. So you can just use 2 if you want to use that. And we're going to use the first one, so we're going to say y minus 0 is equal to 2 times x minus 4. And I would take that as your answer. I would also take y equals 2 times x minus 4. Either one of those would work for this one. Just because there's that 0, sometimes you want to cancel that out. For the next one, same kind of idea. We want to use our slope. So we need to find our slope, So we're going to say 2 minus -2 over 3 minus 1. So 2 double negatives will make that a positive, so we'll get 4/2, which is just 2. And again, using the first one, we're going to say y minus -2 is equal to 2 times x minus 1. And from there, we'll get y plus 2 is equal to 2 times x minus 1. That's our final answer for using the first point. Same thing for the last one. So we're going to find our slope first. And so we're going to say 3 minus 7 over 7 minus 3. And that's going to give us -4/4, which will be -1. And then using the first one, we're going to say y minus 7 is equal to -x minus 3. And you could use a -1 out in front if you want, but this is all that we need. Either one would be counted correct. So looking at point slope form with these, again, you always want to make sure, I know it's making a big point out of it, but you always want to make sure that you're answering the problem in the correct format. And so they want us something that is parallel to this, so we don't care about the 5. I typically will just say let's cross this out, and all we need is the 2, because that's our slope. And if we want something that's parallel, that means our m is going to be 2. And if we're going through this point 2, 5, we would say y minus 5 is equal to 2 times x minus 2. So we don't care about that other 5 that was there. All we care about is the 2, 5 in this problem. And that would be our final answer for this. And then the second equation is saying something in the same point, so we're still using 2, 5, but we want something that's perpendicular. So again, we don't care about this. All we care about is the 2. But perpendicular, we're going to say that it's the opposite reciprocal. And so we're going to end up with y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 2. And that would be our equation there. Another important thing that we need to make sure that we cover when we talk about these is talking about getting the point out of point slope form. So the slope is usually pretty easy. We can find our slope as 3 in this case, or 3/1 if you want it that way. But getting the point, we need to make sure that we're always using the opposites and we're going in the proper order. So we want to have our x first, so we have a plus 6. That means we're going to be dealing with negative 6. And then we look at our y, so negative 1 means that we're going to have a positive 1. So we're going to go to negative 6. Positive 1 is right there. And then we're going to use our slope. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. And then we want one more point up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. And then we want to draw a line that goes all the way to the end with arrows extending like so. So you want to make sure that you have that. You could also go in the other direction if you need to, but we always try to run to the right if possible. Same thing here, our slope is negative 5/2. But our point we need to pull out of the equation is 3, negative 4. So we're going to go to 3, negative 4 is right there. And then we want to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 2. And this is one where if you know that you have to go, if we do another one to get our third point, we would be off the graph. So we want to go in the opposite direction for both. So we would go up from the original point of 3, negative 4. We would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left 1, 2. So I know we always try to run to the right, but sometimes you have to go back to the left, and you should have a line that looks something like this. So I hope this helps you in kind of reviewing on how we use point slope or how we get point slope, but also more importantly how we can get those points out of point slope when we are trying to graph these.